Alright, this is going to be a video to help us change any fraction that we have to a decimal. Now, we were talking about in class how you can take fractions, and some of them you're able to memorize. 1/4, you might know that is 25%, etc., etc. But if you don't, there's one formula that you always need to use, and that formula is this. The first thing you can do is you can draw your division box. Then, inside your division box, you will always have your numerator. And on the outside of your division box, you will always have your denominator. So let's go ahead and try this with a fraction. Let's take a simple fraction to start with. Let's look at the fraction 1/10. We're going to go ahead and use this fraction because some of you may already know that 1/10 written as a decimal is the same thing as 0.1 because you have a 1 in the tenths place. However, if you did not know that, you can do this formula once again with any fraction. Let's look at 1/10, and let's draw my division box again. I said that my numerator is going to go on the inside, which happens to be 1, and my denominator always goes on the outside. This will be the same for every fraction, and that happens to be 10. Now, this division problem literally states 1 divided by 10. If I were to type this into my calculator, that's how I would write it. I would put my 1 first, 1 divided by 10. But we know this is impossible because this question is asking us how many times does a 10 go into a 1. And that does not work. A 10 is larger. So, whenever you do a problem like this, you have to add a decimal to your dividend or your numerator, and you have to add a 0. After you do that, your decimal is brought up to the top and the outside of your division box. Then you go ahead and erase your old decimal, and you've created a brand new problem. And this problem now says 10 divided by 10. And everything we write is going to go to the right of your decimal. So how many times does a 10 go into a 10? We know that's 1. Then if we multiply 10 times 1, we know that equals 10. And if we're left with no remainders, we know that we did it right. We just changed 1/10 to our decimal. And we know that 1/10 written as decimal form is 0.1 or 1/10. A way I can check that is I can take my calculator. I don't know if you can see this, but I can set this right here. And the way I would write this original problem is 1 divided by 10. If I type that on my calculator, 1 divided by 10, it should equal 0.1, and that's what I just figured out here.